Welcome to Haynes for Heroes. I'm Alex Haynes, and if you're new to the superhero genre, don't worry, I got your cape. Today, we are doing a Fantastic Four First Steps character tier list. I've been really excited about this, and let's just go into it right now. Let's pull this bad boy up. So here is my beautiful tier list. I love it. When I was going through this, I realized there isn't a lot of characters in this movie. I was watching it on last Thursday, and I loved the movie. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Like, what did you think of Fantastic Four First Steps when you watched it? I was super into it, but what was interesting is when I was going through this, there weren't that many characters. Like, we have the Fantastic Four, we have Silver Surfer, we have Galactus, I guess Herbie too, but for the most part, there's not really many side characters. So I kind of had to adapt a little bit, so we got, the talk show host, we have their manager, but we're going to go into the success. And first, let me break down how this tier list works. So first and foremost, this is not an attack on any of the actors, performers in this movie. So if there's a character that I absolutely despise, it is nothing against the performer. They're just doing their job. They're doing what they're directed to do. It's just directed for the character. All love and hate is towards the character, though a performer's performance can impact the tier list as well. So just keep that in mind. So obviously at the bottom, we got D tier. That's the worst of the worst. Every time they show up on screen, it makes me angry. I hate them. I don't want to fight them because I don't believe in violence like that. But I just don't like those characters. They go on D tier. But honestly, though, this is a superhero stuff. I love superhero stuff. So you have to put in effort to get me to put your character on D tier. And not necessarily, like, I had questions about it last time. They're like, oh, so supervillains, characters that you're supposed to hate, will go on D tier. Not necessarily. If it's a really good villain, they can go up to God tier, and I'll explain that in a bit. But I'm just talking about characters that don't really contribute to the movie at all. They're just there, and they just ruin everything. That's D tier. Then, if you look here, we got C tier. We got C tier there. C tier, those are for the characters that, they're present. They're there. They don't make me mad, but, they don't do nothing to attract attention. So, C tier. B tier are for characters that, they're good characters. I like them. I'm happy they're there. They're not, they don't stand out the most, but they contribute. And when they appear, they do something that makes me smile. That's B tier. A tier, those are for like, oh yeah, we're getting in the good stuff. That's a good character. They're on screen. I enjoy them. I love them. They're awesome. I want to see more of them. And then finally, we have God tier. God tier. Now, God tier, though, that's like the best of the best characters. They're like, they just completely hold my attention anytime they're on the screen. And I absolutely love them. They're perfect in my eyes and can do no wrong in terms of their character. So, with that being said, I have my characters. I have all the characters down here on the bottom. Now, if there's any characters that I miss, please let me know in the chat, and we can just do an impromptu tier of those characters in here. But I honestly don't think there's a lot. So let's get into it. And you might also notice on this tier list, we got a question mark down here, but that will be a surprise for later. But for now, let's get right into the tier list, starting with Ted Gilbert. Ted Gilbert, host of the Ted Gilbert Show. Now, this is one of those characters that is present. Doesn't really do anything that bugs me. I guess he has like one little minor altercation. Oh my gosh, I totally could have ruined it. Obviously, going into this video, there will be some spoilers for the Fantastic Four First Steps movie. So if you haven't watched it yet, pause this video if you're watching on replay, or if you're watching it now, step off, go see the movie, and then come back to this, and we'll talk more about it. Okay, that being said, Ted Gilbert, host of the Ted Gilbert Show. This is a character that he's there. He's fine. I like him. Not even like him. He's there. He's present. He exists. Just to explain the origins, the backstories of the Fantastic Four. That's his purpose, and he doesn't do anything wrong, but he doesn't do anything really that stands out to me. I honestly forgot about him after the movie ended. I was like, oh yeah, that guy's a thing. He's just kind of like a one-off character. So with that, I went and put him down in C tier. I put him in C tier because he's there. He has a job. He does the job, and then he's gone. So that's it. But where would you put him? Maybe he just rubbed you the wrong way when you saw the movie. Would you put him in D tier maybe? Or maybe you like that guy because you're a fan of the Sherlock series, and that's, what's his name in Sherlock? Mycroft Holmes? Love that series. Didn't end great, but I loved it. Did I already talk about that question mark? There's a question mark. There's a mystery character there. But that's for later. And if you've seen the movie, you probably know who it is, but let's not spoil it for anyone else. All right. Next off, we have Lynn. I think her name was Lynn. She's like the manager of the Fantastic Four. I couldn't find a picture of her online when I was putting this together from the movie. But Lynn is another character. I put her higher than Gilbert because she actually contributes in some way. Anytime she appears, she seems to be very helpful to the Fantastic Four. I liked it when she warned Susan in the beginning of the movie about like one of the ambassadors from another country that Sue turned herself invisible and she was covering for her. Like, she seemed like a very helpful character and very kind. And she was also very like, stepping up for them, standing up for them when they needed, like at the end of the movie when they were going on the Ted Gilbert show and they wanted little baby Franklin to wear that Fantastic Five outfit, which honestly, I thought it looked adorable, but Susan wasn't about it. So I liked Lynn. She didn't really serve much purpose. She had two scenes with her in it, but I liked her. She was nice. So I put her in B tier. I put her in B tier as well. But what did y'all think? What do you think of Lynn? Do you even remember Lynn? I do remember her a lot more than Ted Gilbert, that's for sure. And he was in the trailer, and I forgot about him. But I liked Lynn. Lynn's a good person, and we reward good people on this channel. All right. Now let's just keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. Next, we got Mole Man. Now, I was really excited for Mole Man. I'm a sucker for comic accuracy. Uh-oh, hold on. My light just died. It's so dark now. What happened? Excuse me. Technical issues. Oh, Lord. Let there be light. Are we good now? Okay. What was I saying? Mole Man. So I'm a sucker for comic accuracy, and just looking at this guy, like I'm not super knowledgeable about Mole Man, but just based on this picture, just based on how he was in the movie, from what I do know about Mole Man, this was pretty spot on. But once again, didn't have a major role in the film. He did have that whole evacuation thing, like housing people in his underground kingdom, which I thought was adorable. He looks cool. I really liked how he was roasting Reed Richards and Johnny. Like that was funny. And I feel like he's a really cool character, and I would like to see more of him. Maybe more of his like subterranean creatures. That would be really cool to see in another film one day. But as of right now, he seems to be more of a good guy. Not total good guy, but just doing his part. So for Mole Man, I also put him in B tier. Didn't have that much of an impact on me, but he was cool. He was a nice guy. Remember, we reward nice behavior on this channel. And so I put him at B tier. But where would you put Mole Man? Maybe you liked him a lot more. Maybe you put him in God tier. I had talked to a few friends that were like, Mole Man is undefeated in the MCU. I'm like, oh, okay. You are entitled to your opinion. It was a hot take. Stay hydrated because it is hot. It is hot, hot, hot while I'm doing this. All right, next. Who we got next? We got Herbie. I liked Herbie. Herbie was adorable. I picture Herbie as like, he was like a pet to the Fantastic Four, but you know, just in terms of adorableness. And I did respect that he attempted to protect Franklin, little baby Franklin, from Galactus. But I like Herbie. I like Herbie. He was cute. He was adorable. He, you know, wasn't totally necessary for the movie for me, but I liked him. I'm a sucker for you know, cute little side characters. So I also put him in B tier. And you know, that's it for the side characters basically. I was trying to think of more. I don't know, but anyway, what did you think of Herbie? What did you think of Herbie? Where would you place him on the tier list? Oh, I just heard a scary noise. My cat is right next to me, laying down. Hi, baby. Ouch. All right, let's get into the next one. Now we're getting into the main characters. The main characters of the movie, which, like, once again, this movie didn't have that many characters. Shalabal. Shalabal. Did I say that right? I think I said that right. The Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer. Now, beautiful. It's beautiful. I thought she was so cool. Obviously, you know, this is the other version of the Silver Surfer's character, so most people are familiar with Norrin Radd, the male Silver Surfer, but this is an alternate reality where Shala Bal, who is his wife, I believe, in the comics, she's the Silver Surfer, even though also in the comics, she is also the Silver Surfer in a different storyline. But what do you think of the Silver Surfer? I thought she was great. I thought she was she was both like menacing yet warm. You know, kind of like how they describe her in the movie. She, you know, yes, she's doing these horrible things, but she was warm about it. Like, she wasn't happy about committing, you know, mass genocide of entire planets, but she was willing to throw down for her master. Look, the light went off again. My goodness. Sorry. Hold on, that bugs me. Oh. Is it dead? I was talking mess. The Silver Surfer's coming after me. Shut down power. Anyway, I thought she was really well done. I feel like they captured the absolute power of the Silver Surfer well in this movie. I loved how fast they had her go. Like, when she was destroying all the machines that would help teleport the Earth away from Galactus, and it was just showing her flying across the planet, like instantaneously almost, just going from country to country to country in the matter of seconds. It was awesome. Or when she was like flying through like the faster than light, like when they were, what was it, their version of hyperspace, and she's like still right on them. They're like, oh, it was so cool. And then she got sucked into a black hole, which is typically like, you're done. Like, I've read a lot of comics, and usually a black hole is like, that's the end of you, but not for the Silver Surfer. She struggled for a little bit, but she was able to get out of it. So I thought she was absolutely epic, and I'm going to reward her with A tier. She was incredible. She was incredible, and I hope we don't see the last of her, honestly. I know people want Norrin Radd to come back or they want the male Silver Surfer, but like, that's a whole issue that I don't feel like getting into right now. But I want Shala Bal to come back as a Silver Surfer. Hopefully we see her again, especially after her heroic sacrifice at the end of the movie. Just help them stop Galactus. It was beautiful. I loved it. But speaking of Galactus, let's talk about the Devourer of Worlds. Now, if you are as old as I am, which I'm finding out not a lot of people are, you grew up with a Galactus that was a giant cloud. I remember being a little kid watching that movie and like so excited to see Galactus in the movie because like, oh, it's a movie called Rise of the Silver Surfer, and the Silver Surfer's in it. That must mean Galactus is going to be in it. And the whole movie, I'm just sitting and I'm waiting for Galactus to appear. And then he finally does, but he's just a giant cloud. And just my heart dropped into my stomach. I was so disappointed. And then the rationale behind that, like why they made Galactus into a giant cloud, was even more frustrating to me. It was just like, oh, we thought it would look kind of ridiculous to have a giant man walking around. I'm like, it's a superhero movie. You have a dude made of rocks. You have a naked guy who's made of silver and flies on a surfboard. Like, you're beyond looking ridiculous, or you're beyond realism at this point. Just give me my giant man eating monster guy thing. Just give it to me. But this movie, fortunately, followed through. Like, I went to see this movie with my wife, and we're watching it, and I was like, when it finally showed Galactus, I like, it felt like my heart stopped, but in a good way. Heart failure in a good way. I was so happy. Like, the design was so beautiful. He was epic. I loved how his eyes would glow anytime he was ready to fight. And it's just, they kept him giant. He looked massive, especially when he was walking around New York City. Oh, he was so cool. And they still made him extremely powerful. Even though he was getting pushed into that portal by the Invisible Woman, he wasn't letting that slide. Like, he was epic. He was beautiful. And it was just like, they do that thing where they just take something from the comics and put it on the screen. And that's how you instantly get my affection for your film. Like, when you show respect to the source material. This movie is like, well, he's a giant man with a pointy helmet in the comics, so we're just going to do that. Thank you for doing that, MCU, because this is absolutely beautiful. And because they just follow that to the T, I am putting Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds, onto God tier. And, that's fitting because he technically is like a cosmic god in a way. But where would you put Galactus? I know there are some people that were upset that they were there. I heard people saying he was nerfed heavily in this movie, and I don't think he was. I think he was dealing with the Invisible Woman and the Fantastic Four. Like, that's a tough matchup. Yeah, he was great. I loved Galactus. He's God tier. God tier easily. Next, we got Franklin. He's just a baby. Alex is just a baby. Why are we talking about a baby? Well, the baby's important. The baby's an integral part of the story. And now I'm looking at him, I'm like, oh, maybe should I have included the baby? Well, there he is. I'm excited. Franklin Richards was really good as a baby. And he, spoiler alert, remember, if you haven't seen this movie, move on. But Franklin was able to bring Sue Storm back to life, and that scene made me cry. And he brought one of my favorite characters in this movie back to life. We reward good behavior here. This is just the easy one. B tier. Happy, good boy. He's just a baby. He doesn't do much. Obviously, he doesn't talk. He doesn't do all that. Doesn't have that many scenes where oh man, Franklin Richard, whoever that actor was the best performer in that scene. No, none of that. But we like Franklin Richards. I'm excited to see what we do with him next, just because especially with how the end credits go, oh, what are we gonna do? But yeah, let's put him in B tier. But where would you put Franklin Richards? Would you even put Franklin Richards on your tier list? Would you put a baby on there? I was like, well, he's in the movie. He's an integral part of the film. I was just like, yeah, just throw him on there. Throw him on there. Okay, now we're finally getting to the Fantastic Four themselves. Let's start with Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch. One thing I gotta say that I really appreciate about this movie is they make all the members of the Fantastic Four valuable in ways that are not assumed. So with the Human Torch, you assume he's, oh, excuse me. Ugh. That was disgusting. Sorry. Excuse me. Anyway, with the Human Torch, you assume like, oh, he's the cool ladies' man and he shoots fire. You expect that to be his just only role. That's all he does. But with this movie, it gives him more to do. He's linguistics, is that the word? Linguistics expert, apparently. Like, he contributes to the science. He's a big reason as to why the Fantastic Four is able to defeat Galactus in the first place, because he was able to translate the Silver Surfer's language and the language of a bunch of other species in the process. And I thought that was really cool. It gave him a lot more depth than I feel like the comics do in some way. You know, he's not just a dumb cool guy. He's legit smart. And I feel like it's kind of hard not to be smart when you have to hang out with Reed Richards all the time. Like, you're bound to pick some stuff up. But for him, he's really smart. And that's cool. I honestly forgot where I put him on the tier list. Where did I put you? I put him in A. That's right. I liked Johnny Storm. Human Torch, I put him in A tier. But where would you have him? Where would you put Johnny Storm? I'm curious to know your thoughts. And then, we're talking about characters that go against, their stereotype in terms of like what you expect of them. Let's talk about The Thing, Ben Grimm. First off, I loved how this movie treated The Thing, because I'm so used to, well, first off, they don't really call him The Thing in the movie. I think they do a couple times, but for the most part, it's just Ben. They just call him Ben Grimm. That's his name. I love the respect that they show this character, because I'm so used to in the comics, like everyone like, that's the Thing. They talk so much mess to him, and he's so down and depressed about his appearance. Like, understandably, he was a human, and now he's like a rock man. That's frustrating. But this movie, everyone for the most part was just showing him love and respect and admiration, and that really warmed my heart. But look, the light went off again. I'm sorry. Let me finish this point. That really warmed my heart. I loved that for him, and just seeing that side of him where he is happier and at peace with himself. Like, I'm sure he doesn't like being a rock man all the time, but there's more peace to that, and that made me feel good about it, and I liked him more. But what makes him stand out from the comics, well, he's like this in the comics too, but what they do with his character in this movie is he's not just the powerhouse. He's not just good for punching. He's the pilot, and he's not just like, oh, I can fly ships. Like, he is a legit pilot. This dude is skilled in space, and I like that. And I like that for him. And he's a great cook. And like, there you go, King. Have your skills. So I'm going to put The Thing at A tier. And now, if you excuse me, I'm going to fix this light again. I'm going to need to do some readjustments here, because this is not working. But where would you put The Thing on your tier list? Would you put him in A? Because I feel like anything less than A tier for The Thing is disrespectful. But I will respect your opinion if you disagree. Maybe you disagree, and that's fine. We like different opinions here. All right, here we go. Who's next? Reed Richards. Now, honestly, personally, Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, is my favorite member of the Fantastic Four, because yes, he does have superpowers. He's stretchy, and that's cool. But what's really cool about him is his intelligence, and that definitely carries over in there. First off, I was very impressed by Pedro Pascal's performance. When he was first announced as Mr. Fantastic, I was like, they're kind of just bringing on big name actors that are trending right now. But he legit pulled it off. I thought he really captured not just the intelligence, but the social awkwardness of Reed Richards very well. And I was like, oh, that's straight from the comic books. He has some social skills, but you can tell he's just happiest by himself doing experiments, and you can see that that conflict with him, and Susan Storm, like in his marriage, like, you know, it's difficult being with Reed Richards all the time because he's so analytical, so intelligent, and he only thinks logically. And it's hard for him to grasp emotions, morality sometimes when he's in a thought process. And I thought the film captured that very well, and he was really cool. And I also like those moments where he recognizes those challenges that he has, and in the moments where he allows himself to be vulnerable, especially like when he's, you know, playing with little baby Franklin or holding him and just talking to him. Like, I thought that was a really sweet scene. And there, you can say, I'll admit there'll be a little bias here, but I love Reed Richards. I love Mr. Fantastic. That is my favorite member of the Fantastic Four. So sorry, I put him in God tier. I thought he was really cool. I really liked him, and I want to see a lot more of him. I'm excited to see a lot more of him in the future. But where would you put Reed Richards? I know some people didn't care for his character. Like, they liked him, but, you know, he wasn't a big deal just because, you know, some people are feeling Pedro Pascal fatigue. But I have yet to feel that because he just keeps putting out banger after banger. And last, but certainly not least, the Invisible Woman, Susan Storm. Now, in my opinion, she is the most powerful of the Fantastic Four. And this movie really captured that. She wasn't just the most powerful in terms of her powers, like one, she was able to push Galactus through a portal. Like, that was all that was an incredible scene. But just her personality, just her aura, like, I aspire to have that energy. You know, I loved her love of her family. She was looking out for her family at all times. But I also have mad respect for how just like defensive she would get. Like, she will throw down for her family. Like, the most shocking part of the movie for me was when the Silver Surfer was chasing him through the hyperspace, and she's just telling like Johnny, like, kill her. I'm like, oh dang. like she got brutal when she needed to be, and it just adds so much to a character. And she, you know, such a powerful character just in terms of like, I would consider her the leader of the Fantastic Four in this movie. Just how she holds everything together. And like, people say Mr. Fantastic's the leader, but I feel like he would defer to her. And like, she's the leader. He's the idea guy, but she is the leader. She is the heart and soul of the Fantastic Four. And you absolutely feel that through the entire movie. And I have to give her flowers and put her in God tier. She was definitely, in my opinion, the MVP of this movie. She was fantastic. Oh, also her speech to that crowd, by the way, that also got me. It was a little bit cheesy. It was a little bit that comic book cheesiness, but it was something like you feel you needed to hear in your heart. Like, I won't sacrifice my child for the world, but I won't sacrifice the world for my child. I was like, that was a good line. She won me over with that. So yeah, but where would you put the Invisible Woman on this tier list? Here, I absolutely loved her. So here's what we have so far on our tier list. We got 3 in God tier, 3 in A tier, 4 in B tier, 1 in C tier. Before I get into explaining this question mark, are there any characters that I missed? Let me know if you're in the chat. If you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments, what character am I missing? Should it be on here? And then I'll include them later. Do like an impromptu tier list. Next time, I think I'm just going to delete D tier, because unless there actually is someone that's supposed to be on D tier. But let's discuss the elephant in the room, or this question mark. What is this question mark for? Now, if you watched the movie and you saw the end credits, we are officially introduced for the very first time, kind of introduced in the MCU, the character known as Doctor Doom. I was yelping in my seat when you see him. Now, to be fair, you're probably thinking, Alex, you legit just see the back of him and his mask, and that's it. And that's all you see. He doesn't even do anything. Why are you putting him on the tier list? Because it's Doctor Doom, and we finally have him, and he is messing with Franklin, and we know that's going to cause the events of Avengers Doomsday. I'm seeing people hop on. Sorry, Fantastic Four First Step spoilers. But I had to put Doctor Doom on this tier list. And you're like, well, Alex, once again, he doesn't do anything. You're probably going to put him on C tier, right? Because he contributes nothing. No, I'm just warning you now. No, I'm not going to put Doctor Doom on C tier, because even though he's a fictional character, I'm worried that putting him anything less than the spot I put him in would be bad luck. But I was just honestly, I was just so excited about seeing Doctor Doom, and just in that split second, I felt the essence and power and magnificence of Doom, and God tier. He's gonna become God Emperor Doom eventually. Like, that's what Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars is gonna be about. All hail God Emperor Doom. So that you can maybe that's just first time viewing bias. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm overexcited, but I just been waiting for Doctor Doom to have some presence in the MCU for so long, ever since they announced him. Now he's finally here, and it's just like, like I'm as excited about this as I was about when they revealed Mephisto and Ironheart. Once again, spoiler alert. Sorry if you haven't seen Ironheart, you should watch that anyway. It's a great show. But so excited for Doctor Doom. But where would you put him on the tier list? Would you be like, Alex, I wouldn't even put him on the tier list because he didn't do anything? Which I totally would understand. But I had to. I'm sorry. So here's the final tier list. Foreign God tier. I love it. I feel like this was a solid movie overall. What did you think of Fantastic Four First Steps? How would you rearrange this tier list? Who would you put on? What characters would you add? What characters would you take off? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this live stream and you want to see more like it, please hit the like button and subscribe to Haynes for Heroes. I'm going to try to do more consistent live streams. I would like to do at least once every other week based on movies, TV shows that I watched revolving around the superhero universe. I was supposed to do a Superman live stream a couple weeks ago, but then I got sick. I had a migraine. If you have migraines, you know what I'm talking about. It takes you out. But if you would like to see one, let me know, and I can get started on that right away. But thank you all so very much for being here, and I'll see you next time for another awesome tier list. Or maybe I'll just do something else. Who knows? But thanks again for stopping by.